Hello, callers. Welcome to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories. We start with Frankie de Jong, as it has been reported that the Barcelona midfielder will not be part of summer cost cutting after consolidating his place in the team. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then, secondly, talking about Sergio Busquets. His injury update: Barcelona midfielder have completely been ruled out from the Manchester United clash next Thursday. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, before we get right into the full story, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Heading into the summer transfer window, Barcelona have been told by La Liga that they will need to lower their wage bill by a mammoth 200 million euros. The two parties have been at loggerheads over the financial fair play issues for a while now, and if Barcelona wish to sign players in the summer, the league has made it clear that they will need to slash the wage bill by at least 200 million euros. One of the ways that Barcelona can do so is by player sales, as it will not only increase the revenue of the club but also reduce the wage bill. The Blaugrana had tried to deploy this strategy last summer and push Frankie de Jong out of the club. The Catalans had reached an agreement with Manchester United over a massive €85 million deal and were hoping to offload him to generate income and lighten their salary bill. The midfielder though dug his heels and refused to leave, even though Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag personally spoke to him to try and persuade him to push for a move to Old Trafford. Now that Barcelona will have to resort to a similar strategy to reduce their wages, Mundo Deportivo's Roger Torello is reporting that the Young will not be considered in the club's cost-cutting measures for the summer after he has consolidated his place in the Barca team. The 25-year-old had been pushed to the bench by Xavi in the early parts of the season. However, that has changed gradually over the course of the season, with the Dutchman now one of the first names on the team sheet. Frankie de Jong has consistently been churning out top displays after top displays, one after the other, be it as an interior midfielder or in the pivot position when Sergio Busquets has been rested. And Barcelona are seemingly clear that the former Ajax man is an untouchable now and will not be sold in the summer. So the club will have to look at some of their underperforming players such as Ferran Torres or even possibly Ansu Fati as potential options to sell in the summer. So what seems to be clear is that the Young will not be dragged into the equation. That's great news, isn't it? Frankie de Jong have been playing so well this season, disproving Xavi. In the summer last year, it looked as though Frankie de Jong will leave Barca, but if not of the players' insistence to stay put, if not of the players' stubbornness, now we couldn't have been talking about Frankie de Jong playing to Barca. He could have been playing for Erik ten Hag at Old Trafford. But that never meant to be, because Frankie de Jong decided that he will never leave Barcelona anytime soon, as he wants to succeed at the club. He knows very well that he have not lived up to the standards that many fans were hoping, and he wanted to push for a stay, which he succeeded. And Frankie de Jong continued to put in very good displays, superb performances game after game, and Xavi Hernandez, the manager himself, He's really happy about his performances, and I think Xavi will be speaking to himself that what was I trying to do last summer to sell this gem of a player? Because now we are seeing what Frankie de Jong can do. He's a very important player in this Barca team, and Barca could have made a very big mistake to cash in on him last summer. Luckily enough, the player stood his ground that he won't depart the club. Frankie de Jong continued to be one of the core members of the team. He is now a starting 11 player. Unlike when the season kick-started, when Xavi was making a tactic for the ball to sell him, trying to put him at centre-back or even bench him in most of the games. But now we are seeing Frankie de Jong doing some very good displays on the pitch, week in, week out, and it is not surprising that the club have decided that next summer Frankie de Jong is an untouchable. The club have no intention whatsoever to include him in their cost-cutting measures. There are players that can be sold because, like yesterday, we heard La Liga telling Barca that they must cut their wages grand total to at least 200 million before they can even think on signing a new player. And of course, we can see that Frankie de Jong will not be part of that in case Barcelona wants to get rid of any player in order to, reduce the salary gap mass of the team to sign a new player. Then moving on to the next story of discussion. Barcelona were dealt with a massive blow this past weekend when Sergio Busquets sprained his ankle during the win over Sevilla. He was subsequently ruled out for a period of 2 weeks. But despite his injury, reports earlier this week had claimed that there is a possibility of Busquets returning to the pitch when Barca take on Manchester United in the first leg of the UEFA Europa League knockout round later this month. That possibility has now been ruled out as Barcelona team doctors have opted not to infiltrate his left ankle in order to fast-track the player's recovery. This is according to reports from Dario AS. Not going through with the procedure means Busquets has now been ruled out of the game against Manchester United. The Barca team doctors have taken a conservative approach so that the player can at least make himself available for the second leg fixture that will be played a week later. This could serve as a massive blow for Xavi Hernandez, as Busquets had become an indispensable figure in his second line of press. However, it must be noted that Xavi has an alternative in Frankie de Jong, who is more than capable of replacing the veteran midfielder in the number 6 position. The Dutchman has been in excellent form this season and is likely to complement Pedri and Xavi in Barca's midfield 3. Busquets, meanwhile, is set to miss 3 games during his time on the sidelines, including the Manchester United clash, but the midfielder is trying his best to speed up his recovery and was spotted at the Ciudad Deportiva today along with Robert Lewandowski and Sergio Roberto, even though Xavi Hernandez has offered a holiday to the Barca players. So Busquets is out and will miss the game against United. It has already been confirmed because I think some days back Barca were contemplating if they can fast track the player to play. But what the team doctors are advising is it's going to be very risky. So I think Xavi himself will not be like to take such a risk just because of a game against United and risk his player for a longer injury. So he will miss that game and might be he will be available for the next clash at Old Trafford.